The goal, $30,000 a month. I have to weed out packaging labels. I'm gonna show you what I take in the morning to get my brain ready.
What the heck are these? She's gallivanting around town in AZ, going to some concert with. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Greg Dawson. I'm a digital marketer. I have scaled to $30,000 a month before. It ended in a horrible nightmare. But I learned a few things along the way. And the biggest learning, have systems and processes in place. How can I best serve everybody who's been tuning in? What if we could take all those learnings from social media and use it for our own good? Instead of building someone else's business, what if we built our own business? This is the epiphany that I'm having right now. Because a couple of weeks ago, I launched an e-commerce brand with my wife, and we are selling natural skincare.
Today is day 20. It's gonna be a busy one, and the sun is out and shining. Lots to do today. I have to weed out packaging labels that my wife helped me learn how to cut on the Cricut yesterday, and it's what we put on our bottles of product. A little label on top for branding. I also have to make some coffee, which I got going right here. And then also, I'm gonna show you what I take in the morning to get my brain ready. I take one pill of True Niagen. It's NAD+. You definitely gotta check that one out. That's good for your brain. L-theanine, take one of those pills. That stuff's really good for you as well. And I take beef organs from MK Supplements. This stuff's really good. It has grass-fed beef liver, heart, spleen, kidney, pancreas. And then one of the cleanest proteins that I've ever found is from Noble, grass-fed beef protein complex. And it's made from beef isolate, collagen, colostrum, and it has beef organs in it as well. Why do I take all that stuff? Well, being an entrepreneur isn't always about just making the product. You also have to be functioning to get up in the morning, to have energy throughout the day. And I find that supplementing with those gives me the energy that I need throughout the day, keeps my head on straight, and keeps me going. Another thing we have going today is I have to,
What the heck are these? These are tallow cakes.
this is 100% grass-fed, grass-finished, pure tallow that has been clarified and purified. I have another one in here. There's a whole process to it.
What do we have to do with these?
Gotta use these silver bowls so it's easy to break the mold. And that is the impurity in it. When you heat up the tallow, you get it to a rolling boil with water and salt. Fat doesn't mix with water or salt. And the salt and the water pull the impurities out as it hardens and brings it down to the bottom of the bowl. So chop this water off. Ice, I should say. You can see the impurities down here. So we take all this out so that it doesn't go into our skincare products. There it is. It's the last little bit of it. Tallow is made from beef fat called like surrogate, something like that. And we get the good stuff from kidney fat. Then you take this knife and you start to scrape it off. So I'm gonna do that, put the camera down and get that all prepped. All right, now that we have 2 tallow cakes, 1, 2, and they are pure white, odorless, clarified, purified. We're actually gonna warm them up again, melt it down in a crock pot. The whole point with this process is to get all of the water out. So we're just gonna let them slide into there. And I'm gonna put crock pot on low, probably take an hour or so. We're gonna let it run. It'll melt down. And if we go back to our middle school science classes, water doesn't mix with fat. The water will go to the bottom, fat will stay on the top, and we'll siphon the fat off. And we'll put it in jars like this. I actually break up the tallow cakes to make it easier to melt down.
Told you, it's a busy day. Just had to drop the littlest one off at school because mom is out of town. She's gallivanting around town in AZ, going to some concert with her friend. And it's gonna be an awesome concert, so I'm kind of jealous. But I've elected to stay back and take care of things while she goes and enjoys some sun. Although we got some sun here as well. What else we have going on today? I actually have to stop at the store first to get a couple jars. And now we're at the point where we have enough tallow to fill up a few mason jars, big mason jars. And I was having a little trouble getting some of the tallow out of the bigger mason jars because you gotta have to like dig down in there. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get some smaller mason jars, or I might put them in glass containers that have a little bit of a lip, so I don't have to reach down into the mason jar to get it out. And then I have to weed the stickers. I have to apply some stickers, and then I have to put some shrink wrap on some of the products, so if it does get hot and they start to melt down, they don't melt all over the package. Because we did have that happen where I sent a package to Texas and it got hot, and unfortunately I shipped the package midweek, and it was about 4 days to get to the destination from Oregon to Texas, and the package ended up staying in the hot warehouse over the weekend, and it melted through. Luckily, the recipient was one of our friends, so she took it with grace and just let us know, and I'm going to send her out a free one anyway, because I want to also test out the new way of shrink wrapping. And because we have all natural products, there's no fillers, there's no preservatives, there's nothing to keep it from melting. What I'm going to do is actually cool it down in the fridge before I send it, so it has a little bit more stability when it gets shipped out. Pulling into Fred Meyer's to get a few of those mason jars. Here we go, going over to the food storage aisle. Don't see any glass mason jars. Maybe I'm in the wrong area. Well, I found them, but they're just not that big. I've hit the mother load. Look at these suckers. These are huge. That's too big. This is more of what I was looking for. They're a little expensive, but I think I'm gonna get a couple of those. They also are this size right here, but that's gonna be too big. And I don't even know if it'll fit in the fridge. I know this one will fit in the fridge. Could get a couple of those. All the tallow is melted. It has separated from the water, and now it's time to pour it into the mason jars that I bought and throw it in the fridge for it to cool down. I end up going with these mason jars with the little lids on top. Hopefully it's enough room for all the tallow. And I'm gonna put these in the sink just so I don't make a mess everywhere. All right, so I know there's water in the bottom, so I'm gonna go off a little slowly. And I'm gonna keep the water in the bottom while I fill this up. Now I poured it into a glass measuring cup, and it'll start to separate any of the water down to the bottom. I'm gonna put the lid on this one and put them in the fridge. Start getting them to cool down. Now that this is separated, we're gonna start pouring in here. I'm just gonna be careful not to get any of the water in there. Basically, once I get towards the end, any of the dark stuff at the bottom, I'm not gonna let in, which is the water. And this was towards the top, so there's not much water in there. Just a little bit. So the rest in there is water. We're just gonna dump that out. And this is the last little bit. I'm gonna let that separate out because there should be a little bit more water in that one. And it's not a ton of water, but you don't want water getting in with the tallow because it can lower the lifespan of the tallow itself. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy away. All right, that should be enough time for it to separate. I'm gonna pour that in there. I can see a little bit of water in the bottom, but not much. And a little bit of dark area in the bottom, so I'm gonna pour this one out. No, the rest of it out. Be careful not to get any water in the mason jar. Lock that up and get it in the fridge as well. Now we're gonna use the heat gun to throw shrink wrap on these guys right here. Now it's a little bit more tedious to do this, but it's a better customer experience. You don't get products sent to you that have leaking seals. So we're gonna seal that up in case it gets too hot along the way. There we go, and then we're just gonna throw them in the fridge, let them cool down. We are in our Shopify store, and since May 1st, we've had 199 online store sessions, 11 orders. And one more order yesterday, and that brings our total overall sales for the month for Janie B & Co. up to $243.05. And then for my marketing consultancy, that's at $9,500. So we are at $9,700. We have a ways to go to get to $30,000 per month, but hey, we started, we're doing something, and we're going for it. Thank you to everyone who's been tuning into these videos. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. And if you are the type of person who wants to start your own thing, I want to help you. The whole point in me documenting all of this is to show you that being your own boss is possible. And what I'm doing is I'm bridging my knowledge in digital marketing with Facebook ads, email marketing, social media management, and I've started my own brand, which you need to do too. You need to start your own brand. You need to start selling on Shopify, eBay, TikTok, etc. And I hope that the value that I'm putting in these videos, kind of how to do the marketing, is going to help you build your brand so that you can be your own boss. You can do what you want, when you want, and you can build something that's yours. If you want to be your own boss, click that like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.